Welcome back to the Phils Boardroom, where we are touching base on the last 2 weeks of your 2024 Philadelphia Phillies. As always, this is Dave, and I'm joined by co-chairman of the board, Tom. What's up?
What's going on, Dave? We got a little bit different setup this week.
A little bit virtual. Shout out to producer Jeff for the hookup. This is what happens when one of us is under the weather and producer Jeff is out of town. But yeah, I guess we're making it work.
Everybody has to go on vacation event at some point.
Yeah, no, this is a good setup. So a little bit different for us, but with this setup today, we're actually going to have a little bit of fun at the end of the show. It's going to allow us to do that, so we're looking forward to that. But let's dive right in. Let's do a ring the bell for this episode. Obviously, we talked about it before. We're huge Philadelphia Phillies fans. That's obvious, but we're also big Eagles fans. So we, much like a lot of people in the greater Philadelphia area, we want to walk through a couple different scenarios being a fan of both teams playing at the same time, especially with how good the Phillies are and the Eagles hopefully getting ready for a good season, not like the end of last season, but want to run through the scenarios right now and kind of give our take on what we think. So the first one here, how do you take when you're at a Phillies game and you're wearing only Eagles gear to a Phillies game? Any day of the week, you're wearing only Eagles gear, nothing Phillies. Is that acceptable?
So I don't want to knock people out there. You can't afford the different jerseys, but it's something that's definitely a pet peeve, is like wearing other jerseys of other sports to different sporting events. Like, yeah, if you're at a baseball event wearing all Eagles gear and it's a Tuesday, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
I agree with you. You can oftentimes get a pretty cheap Philly shirt if you really want to, or borrow one from a friend. I agree, and that kind of goes back to like fans of other baseball teams wearing their team's jerseys to a random game too. I think that's out too.
Yeah, and okay, if it's a kids, do your thing. But like, if you're our age and you're wearing the McNabb jersey, get out.
I would say if you're able to drive and you're doing that, then get out.
As my dad would say, it's a foul ball. It's a foul
ball.
What
what about if it's the day of an Eagles game? The Eagles are playing that same day, same time.
I'll accept that because it's Xfinity Live. They might be going over there. I'll accept that, but like, I'll see where someone's wearing their powder blue LaDainian Tomlinson jersey to a Yankees like Phillies game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. I think if you're anytime like you're going to a Phillies game, either don't wear anything that's related, or you have to wear at least something. Like, I get the Eagles are playing. That's a situation where I would wear an Eagles hat or an Eagles shirt and a Phillies hat. I don't know. I'm a very much a stickler when it comes to it. When you go to a game for that team, you're wearing something of that team. If you're a fan, if you're going to a different random game and you don't have that team's anything to wear for that team, don't wear anything of.
Yeah, dude. Interesting note on that though, because it was something just recently came up on one of my feeds. It was like a shot of, I think it was the 93 Phillies run, and they're showing the crowd, and it's a newer phenomenon that I think we don't realize, that like accessibility of everyone wearing jerseys, because everyone in the crowd, I'm pretty sure it was 93. They're all wearing either suits or just T-shirts or just random assortment, like barely even red. They're barely even showing the colors. I feel like it's a jersey era phenomenon. Yeah.
We grew up with the jersey,
all that.
The jersey era, yeah. The jersey era, I think, started becoming big when we were in school, and everybody started wearing. Because I agree with that. Like, you look at a bunch of old throwback clips of any sporting event, really, like before 1995, nobody's wearing jerseys,
smoking cigs.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's interesting. So, anyway. If you're going to a Phillies game, especially now with how good they are, make sure you try and wear something Phillies if you are a fan. And if you're an Eagles fan, you can wear something of Eagles as long as it matches with something else that you're wearing as Phillies. Now, how about if the Eagles and the Phillies are playing the same day, right? is it okay to watch the Eagles game during the Phillies game that you're at on your phone?
It's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. I've watched Sixers playoff games at the bank. I've watched Phillies games at Wells Fargo. I've watched every sport in every stadium. I'm following.
We did watch the Sixers playoff game where we were there earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair during regular season games. You can kind of pay attention to both. However, I will say, what if it's a playoff game? What's your take on that? You got to be dialed in my opinion. You got to be dialed in.
Yeah, you got to be
to
locked
the playoffs.
in.
It's a Sunday playoff game. The Eagles are playing on the other side of the street. It doesn't matter. You're dialed into the Phillies game.
Yeah, don't ruin the culture just because there's some regular season game. That's because that is it. Yeah, don't be that guy who's watching another sport and constantly just yelling around, like making. Yeah, if you care, you can just do your thing.
You can check the score in between innings.
Yeah, playoff
that's
game.
Acceptable. That's acceptable.
Yeah, and shout out everybody who just got their playoff pre-sales, came in. We're all locked in. But yeah, I mean the games I went to in 2022 and last year, I don't think I sat down or looked at my phone, maybe 3 times. Like it's hard not to be locked in. Oh man, we're so close.
Next scenario here. Assuming that the Eagles played on Sunday this week. I know they play on Monday, but assume the Eagles played on Sunday this week and you had tickets to the Sunday game against the Mets and you skipped the game. You're like, I don't want to go to the Phillies game. I'm giving them up. And you go watch the Eagles game instead. Is that not go to the Eagles game, but like you go stay home and watch it, or you go to Xfinity and watch it and don't go to the Phillies game that you have tickets for?
I don't think that's I don't think that's too much of a foul ball because like everybody has their preferences, but at least make a couple bucks. Like give someone time to buy it. I don't know.
That's fair. You would make a lot of money this weekend. That's the thing. That's where I was going. Is I think it's foul because we're still in a race. We're in a race for the NL East. We're in a race for the top seed in the National League. We're in a race for the top seed just overall, best team in baseball. If we already clinched some of those things, yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. If it's the playoffs, absolutely not.
I take my answer back. Oh, playoffs now, but I take my answer back. You do your thing, but don't put it on the secondary market because the Mets are going to try to take over this weekend. Give it to a Phillies friend. Give it to someone who's going to wear red, and I'll accept it. But if you put it on the secondary market, there's a very good chance it's going to go to one of these delusional Mets fans.
That's true. Or yeah, there's some good Facebook groups out there for selling your Phillies tickets that I'm a part of.
Right.
It's all Phillies fans, so that's also a good avenue. Good point, Tom. I didn't really think about that. You're absolutely right. It's going to be it's going to be electric this weekend. They are, and they are, and we got to shut them down. And it'll be a lot of fun down there this weekend. Looking forward to it. Definitely going to be a playoff atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, I'll be down there Sunday. You're going.
I'm going on Friday.
Friday tomorrow. Probably when this comes out. It's cool.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. And then lastly, on the Eagles, we've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
I freaking hate this. Like, no matter, in no scenario is this okay. In no scenario, in my mind. Doing the Eagles chant at the game.
Yeah, you've made it clear. Yeah, I'll never start one in a million years. If they if they just like beat like a rival during the game, all right. But like if the Phillies just lost and you're just doing an Eagles chant for no reason, or even if the Phillies, yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah,
I'm leaning towards annoying.
I think it's so annoying, especially with the current state of the Phillies and how good they are. It's like if they were really bad and we weren't playing for anything and it's September and the Eagles just beat the Cowboys or they scored a big touchdown, I might be all right with that.
Yeah,
I'd probably be okay with that.
And it's usually the same situation where it's the most annoying. It's like, because we say it all the time, like Phillies fans will get a bad rap for like that 1%, the drunkest guys every like 20 rows, but it's usually that guy. You're leaving the stadium. You're
leaving the stadium.
You're in a mob of people, and one guy just decides to do the Eagles chant 20 times, and you're like, dude, just shut up.
No, but this is all right. So that's a great. The scenario is like you have two kids, right? You have two kids. You love them equally, right? But you just come back from you just finished watching your one son's baseball game, and he went 3 for 4 with a home run, had a great game.
We'll call him Phil E.
But then, yeah, call him Phil E. But then after the game, all you talk about is how your other son is a varsity quarterback, and his name is Eagle, right? And that's all you talk about. You don't even worry about the other sons. Like, you want to only talk about the son who's the starting varsity quarterback.
Yeah, he's not even in the car. He's not even in the car.
He's not even in the car. Yeah. He's not even in the car. You're with your son who just went 3 for 4 with a home run.
Yeah.
And you're not even talking about how great of a game he had. That's what it's like in my mind. Yeah. It's like, maybe that's a little drastic and dramatic, but like, that's what it seems like to me. And it drives me absolutely up a wall.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I mean, this is a crazy Eagles town.
I know.
You get like, go Birds, go. I don't mind go Birds anytime.
Go Birds is easy. Yeah, go Birds.
Yeah, any more than like 4, 5, 7 times walking down the ramp, I agree.
It's a little annoying. And look, don't get us wrong. We love the Eagles.
Yeah, it's not
it has its place. It has its place. Looking forward to a great season, hopefully. But it is a pet peeve of mine for sure. Yeah, Saquon, big game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully keeps it up. It was a good draft pick. I reached for him, but it was worth it.
We'll have to put on the back burner since we did the fantasy football draft of Phillies players. We'll do the Eagles players playing baseball another time.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so moving on, let's get into recognition. So again, shout out to producer Jeff for setting us up with this virtual setup. But from a Phillies standpoint, we usually don't recognize players at this point, but some interesting ones that came up, especially for Schwarber. I think it's definitely worth a moment of its own. Schwarber with the MLB season record of leadoff home runs with 14 this season. He's not done yet. I think he can at least get one more. It's pretty awesome for a guy that everybody was over. I mean, nobody's really said it this year, but over his first 2 seasons with us, that he shouldn't be hitting a leadoff, and he's proven that he can kind of redefine what it means to be a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I'll eat a little bit of crow on that. I might have said that a couple times.
You might have said it this season, actually. I think we can go back and look at the tapes. Tom definitely made some mentions of that earlier in the season.
Hey,
but yeah, I mean, what an awesome.
Disregard my previous email.
You've grown, Tom. You've grown. And also shout out to Stubbs. There's a video of him last night. Obviously, there's an off night tonight. He went to McGillen's overnight, karaoke Wednesdays in the city. I have a video of him doing karaoke with some fans there. I wish I'm pretty jealous I wasn't there because that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, but it was this song. They were doing Dancing on My Own.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's recognize that song that it hasn't been brought up other than that moment there. I'm thankful for that. I'm not a huge fan of that song. I'm very curious, though, if it will come back.
Yeah.
Or hopefully they have another song in their back pocket that they're going to put out here once we win that NL East.
Yeah, there's been some good alternatives, but like when you look at Stubbs' playlist, like it seems pretty static. I don't know. But
I know I used to listen to it all the time, but it hasn't changed much. There's no. I looked the other day actually because that's what I do.
Now it's in his
to see if there are any new songs added. There hasn't really been anything added since the beginning of the season. So
I feel like it's probably like a 20% chance that it starts getting played again on a playoff run.
I just don't like that version. Like the original version's better. It is.
It's pretty good.
I don't know.
I would love for because right now it's sad. But right now it's a sad song. Right now it's like memories of not beating the Diamondbacks twice at home.
That's why they said last year they're like it's a loser song, it's a second place song.
All right. Well, anyway, move past this song.
We digress. Yeah. And lastly, here with recognition, as always, we want to thank our sponsor, the Boardroom Phoenixville. Enjoying some lovely boardroom spirits that you can find there as well. Vodka soda, cherry berry, my personal favorite. Obviously, best food in town as well. So shout out to them. Do a great job there, the Boardroom Phoenixville.
Yeah, in Phoenixville, Bridge Street. Stop by patio. New fall menu be coming out soon. New drink menu. Matt, the bar manager, big Mets fan, so you can go in there, talk some crap,
Heckle him this
know.
weekend. Let
He
him
did
know.
give
Let
us
him
these
know.
though. Thanks, Matt.
Let him know that Tom and Dave sent. Let him know that Tom and Dave sent you to
Yeah.
heckle him. No, thanks, Phil.
Great guy.
Thanks, Boardroom Phoenixville, as
Completely
always.
delusional. Great guy though.
most Mets fans are.
Yeah, we got. Right. I got his Mets input. We'll get to that for the later in the broadcast.
Well, let's mention them here as we get into the industry update. Braves and Mets currently going at it back and forth for a little while here. The Mets currently have a 1-game lead over the Braves for second place in the NL East. Yeah, and the last wild card spots. So that's important to note. We'll talk much more about that at the end of the show. But the other things I want to go through, we haven't really touched much on all season, is just taking a look at, especially with basically 2 weeks left of the season, where it's all shaken out for the rest of the league. So for the American League, we'll start with them first. Right now, the leaders in the clubhouse for the American League are the Yankees in the East, the Guardians in the Central, and the Astros in the West. The AL West is not a good division.
Astros clawed back. I mean, everybody knew they were going to, but man, that was a really bad start.
Really bad start. And the Rangers, the defending world champions, are 6 games below 500 in that division right now. Not going to make it back to the playoffs unless there's some miraculous comeback, but it doesn't look like it.
Seemed like they were trying to lose. They stole a lot more wins than expected. They had some good runs.
They're still technically not eliminated. But yeah, so it's heating up there. It looks like, the Yankees and the Orioles are still only a game and a half back from the Yankees in the East. So that's still a tight race to take the East. Both of those teams are most likely going to be playoff teams. It's just really trying to figure out who's going to win the East and who's going to be that first wild card team, that 4 seed.
Probably would be the Orioles. They're the best team out of it. If they don't, whoever loses the Yankees or Orioles is probably going to take that top wild card. And then
it is for sure. So that's really what they're battling for. They're either battling for the AL East or that top wild card spot.
And then
so that's going to be interesting. That's definitely the closest.
Yeah.
Kansas City's 4.5 back of the Guardians. Still technically a chance in the Central. Same thing with the Mariners, 3.5 back against Houston. Technically a chance.
When's the last time the Twins made
games left to play?
When's the last time the Twins made the playoffs? They could sneak into that last wild card spot.
Did they make it last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Was that them?
I don't remember.
I feel like that's a team you just don't really get to see very often. Like
you don't. That's the thing. Yeah. The AL Central is full of those teams, and it actually looks like they're going to have 3 teams in the playoffs with the Guardians, and then in the wild card you have the Royals. The Twins would be the 5th and 6th seed right now, and then the Tigers are following right behind the Twins there. So,
and we didn't do the Royals any favors with those crazy couple games, but that's why I would like to see go in. They're a fun team. Bobby Witt, good pitching.
It looks like those 6 teams are solidified in the American League unless somebody falls off like the Twins or the Royals and the Tigers or the Red Sox come springing back, even the Mariners. But for right now, I think it's probably going to be pretty much locked in. I don't really see too much movement as those top 6 teams, just maybe some movement as to what they're seeded.
Yeah, the Sox, they can't be happy with that. Boston on a real downswing, except for the stupid Celtics.
They deserve it, honestly. Yeah, well, yeah. The NBA. I don't really pay attention to the NBA. Let's go to the National League here. So your Philadelphia Phillies, number 1
best team in
baseball. Best team in baseball, best team in the National League, and then obviously best team in the National League East. Currently up on the Mets, 8 games and 9 games on the Braves. Then we move on to the Central and the West. The Central, the Brewers, the Rhys Hoskins Brewers, they are running away with that too. Looks like they're going to be solidly locked in to win the NL Central. Currently 8.5 games over the Cubs. And then the Dodgers, 5 games up on the Diamondbacks for the NL West. Diamondbacks have been streaky good for a little while here. Who knows? They can make some noise, especially if the Braves take the series against the Dodgers. Be interesting to see there. But with that said,
they got hot.
They do get hot.
It looked like it was Padres all year. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to look through the wild card here, Tom, you got the D-backs, the Padres, and then the Mets and the Braves. They're the 4 teams that are battling for those 3 spots pretty much.
Crazy. So, yeah, we obviously have the 7. We can do some damage to the Mets, but then the Mets and the Braves have is that a 3-game series or a 4-game series? They play in between us.
The Mets and the Braves don't play. Oh.
Yes, the Mets, I'm pretty sure they do.
They don't. They don't play the rest of the season.
Oh, I thought they had one more. The schedule makers messed that up.
They did. They only put us there. Great. It would have been. No, the Braves play a 4-game series tomorrow, starting tomorrow with the Dodgers.
And then the Reds and the Marlins. No, they do. They play the Mets 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting. My mistake. Disregard my last email.
We're even. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how that last wild card spot kind of ties together and really the battle for second place in the NL East. But, yeah, the big series against the Mets coming up for us. We still have 7 games left to play against them with 8 games ahead of them. Obviously, I don't think that it's going to really get nail-biting close, but we got to take care of business still.
Yeah, I think take 2 out of 3 this weekend, and division's pretty much a wrap. Like, that's even when we were talking to Matt, our Mets guy, he's saying the same thing. Like, if they don't sweep us or take 2 out of 3, they're kind of turning their attention to the Braves. Yeah, so like you'll see them probably leave the longer leash on their starters, save the bullpen. So we can, if we just come out and smoke them 2 games, I think then they're going to shift their focus.
Tomorrow's a big game. Tomorrow's a big game.
I mean, they don't really they don't have the luxury of trying to save for bigger games. Yeah, every game is do or die for them now. So it'll be interesting how it lines up with the pitching.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this a lot more at the end of the show, and we're gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah. We're already getting into a decent amount. So let's get to your business review, Dave.
Let's get down to business. Talk safety. Unfortunately, we have a lot on here right now, but nothing of major significance, or so it seems. It's just been little ticky-tacky injuries, just kind of hitting us here at the end. Part of it, I wonder, like if this was mid-season and we were in the middle of a heated race, right? Would, especially being the middle of the season, would some of these players have taken some time off? Would they have gone on the AL? I'm questioning they're on this right now because it's the end of the season. We have a cushion in the NL East. Yes, we're battling for the first spot in the National League, national top place in the National League, but we do have a cushion for second and third place, so we can still get that first round bye. I'm curious about that, but regardless, we do have quite a bit of players that are injured right now.
Yeah, and I don't want them to take their foot off the gas at all because we're neck and neck with the Yankees, and it's no longer determined by the winner of the All-Star game, which was one of the stupidest things in sports. But home field advantage, if we were to go to the World Series, goes by record now. So if we are on a collision course with the Yankees, we gotta,
it's advantageous for us to win every game that we can still, because we still have a lot to play for. It's not just getting the top seed in the National League; it's the top seed overall because we're playing to get into the World. We're playing to play the World Series,
especially for me and you. Because everybody else out there who's playoff pre-sale lottery gave them home game 4. I
didn't get home game 4. I think I have home game 2.
You had home game 2?
Yeah, I have home game 2. So I'll have.
So you're in.
I'm in for sure. But you also get a chance at a game 7, which I don't know if I can handle. If we go to game 7 in Citizens Bank Park for the World Series, I think I'll probably go regardless and pay the money to go. It's going to be ridiculously expensive.
It just sucks though because then
I think I'm going to have a heart attack.
In the back of my mind, I was like, I'd rather win in 5 or 6, but like if it goes 7.
Yeah.
But
anyway. It was interesting how those tickets kind of fell, but. Yeah, anyway, we have let's get back to the injuries. So Bohm, Edmundo, JT, and Schwarber all are more recent injuries. nothing of super significance. Just again, like little pains in the side, like no pun intended.
Yeah, the Bohm thing. So Bohm was like the first game against the Braves, beat up his hand, and Sosa filled in just beautifully. Sosa was playing awesome, but then he started, the backspat him. So it's like, all right, then Wilson.
He's supposed to be due
filled
back.
In beautiful.
Sosa's due back on Monday. It said, for the Brewers series, so that'll be good to have him back. But from what I read too, Bohm could be coming back at the same time. They just said mid-September, which, looking at the date, we're there.
Well, yeah, just let Wilson go. He's playing good. Not as well as either of those guys, obviously, but give them enough time to get a couple series in before the playoffs. But just prioritize health. Yeah. The one guy who will never prioritize health, your boy Harper, just gonna.
Well, we have him on here because he is hurt. It's come out that he has been playing hurt for a while, but he's playing through it, and the power's not there, so it's obviously impacting him. He's getting closer,
and he could be.
Hopefully, he can figure it out for the postseason.
Because it's clearly he can't. He swings so violently, and it clearly feels the pain in his wrist when he does it. So it's like, but then he just says like, "Hey, the doctors all agree it's just playing through pain." So it's like, all right, dude, it looks pretty. You're shaking your hand every time you swing a bat.
Looks painful, and like I said, the power's not there. They did say that he has more of like a little, like he's working with K Long on it's like a little league swing. I think all that means is like he's not swinging like ferociously like as he usually does, swinging for the fences literally. And You know what? We'll talk about it. It's paying off for him. So yeah, he doesn't have the power, but whatever his swing is right now, it's working. But then we have JT and Schwarber also that recently were injured over the past 2 weeks, but both expected back for the start of the series tomorrow against the Mets.
Yeah, that's great. That's great news because that was
great news.
The Schwarber leave was worrisome. Obviously,
it was strange because it didn't look like he heard him. Like he didn't like react to it in the moment at all.
Right. Meanwhile, our very own Iron Man, who's never been on the injury report, and even though he continually gets pegged by balls, Nick Castellanos just can't be damaged.
Played every game so far. Played every game so far this year. Our Iron Man.
It's crazy.
He is the man. Yeah, he is the man.
He's proved it.
Yeah. So looking overall, let's get into delivery. We're 88 and 58 right now. 30 games over 500. We hovered at the 20 to 24 games over 500 for like 3 months, it felt like. When we talked with Tim Kirkchin back in, what was that, May? We were 20 games over 500 at that point, and we were still 20 games over 500, I think, in like the beginning of August. And we flipped the switch again, thankfully. Now 30 games over 500, 603 winning percentage.
Yeah, we were panicking for a little while. Everybody wanted a fire topper.
Panic at the disco.
No, you made it through. Bank. I mean, you want your team to face some adversity in the regular season, right? That's when you see like those 110 win Dodgers teams and Braves teams just suck in the playoffs because they don't face any adversity throughout the season. So I don't know. Yeah. I'll take it glass half full.
And you want your team to play well at this time of the season, and we're playing well right now, even with the adversity of all these injuries.
Yeah.
So that's a very promising sign. And hopefully it continues on to the postseason as we reload and get everybody healthy going into the postseason.
Yeah, I think it kind of reignites that fire, where it's like if Trey was just never had that slump, it wouldn't be as fired up when he starts hitting the ball again.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. It's a long season.
So we're projected at just under 100 wins right now. We're projected at 98.
How do you feel about that?
It's great. Like ultimately it doesn't matter as long as we get the top seed in both leagues. But it would be awesome if we get over 100 wins.
Yeah, I want 100. I hope we take care of the Mets and smoke them, and then the Yankees still keep pushing like they seem like they're going to, and pushes us over to 100.
So in order for us to win 100 games, Tom, we have to go 12-4 with the remaining games, the last 16 here.
All right, let's put a pin in that for the end of our conversation.
Okay, I like it. All right, let's see how we can get there. Let's see how we can get to 100 wins.
And we'll break it down exactly.
Every fifth start is a loss because we currently don't have a pitcher. I think Tom or I could go out there for the fifth starter and do just as well as some of these guys, but I digress.
Yeah. And it's like you don't want to use up your entire bullpen. Yeah, it's just a crap situation.
Yeah. So let's go into series by series now over the last 13. This Braves series, it feels like it was a while ago, honestly.
It feels a long time ago.
Too. It does, because that kind of really just set us on this trajectory going in September so hot. And it's just been a lot of fun ever since.
And also, after that Braves series, which was like so electric, we were at the Sunday game. It was amazing. But then football happened. So I think that's another reason why it seems like so long ago.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on. That's true. That's true, for sure. But Brave series, we won the series 3-1. We lost the season series against the Braves. I think we went 6-7 against them. Don't really care.
Doesn't seem to matter now.
You will look back at the first 3 games of the season, right? We could have taken that first game when we blew it. The bullpen blew it. Alvarado blew it. That would have been nice, but it doesn't matter. That was literally almost a year ago now. So 3-1 in this series. We took care of business. All right, game 1 against the Braves. The Sanchez had a pretty solid outing, 8 Ks in just under 6 innings, and then the bullpen closed the door. Was a really strong performance for us pitching-wise.
Yeah, they look good. They look good. And they down 4-0. It looked like it might be same old Brave series, but they came back. Marsh 3-run home run. Because Morton looked really good. The Braves starting pitching was really good even throughout that series. But Sanchez at 8 Ks and Casty with the go ahead, the home run in the 7th.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun there. And then game 2, it was a loss. I was a little concerned after this game because we went 1-1, and we really needed to, win that series. And was a little nervous coming out of game 2 after that 7-2 loss. Ranger didn't look good. He hasn't really looked good for a little while now. But
yeah, and that was where Arcia had the
2 home runs. I know.
And that was after.
And that also put a bad taste in my mouth. It's like,
right.
Come on. Like we have to take this series, and we can't let Arcia spit in our face like that.
Yeah, so, that was my main takeaways those first couple of games. Yeah, Olsen smoked us the 2 home runs the first game. I think he had a couple hits this game too, or RBI double. He seems to just always crush us. Yeah. Bohm hurt his hand, but Sosa was stepping in really nicely. But then game 3, they get it back together. Big matchup. Wheeler Freed.
Big matchup.
Saturday night.
We shut him out. We shut him out 3-0. Wheeler had a great outing. Sosa had a solo shot. Again, you mentioned it, filling in great for Bohm when we needed him, and he's been solid like that all season. But also Rojas, it was great to see. Olsen just kills us, like you said. But it was great to see Johan in that game too. Rob him out in center field. That was fantastic.
That was great for the vibes. Also, it was like Olsen another home run, and Rojas. It was so crazy too because he got to the spot so fast that he caught it like facing this way.
yeah. And then game 4, we were both there. That was a great game. Took it into multiple extra innings.
On the catch though, Harris had that other crazy catch. If you remember that Saturday night,
that's right. That game, they were dueling Gold Glove center fielders out there. Yeah, it was.
And then Sunday we were there. Big time playoff vibes.
Big time playoff vibes. It was definitely a playoff atmosphere on Sunday when we were there. Nola versus Swellenbach. Of course, I was there for a Nola start. It's like the 9th one that I've been to this season. I think for the last episode of the regular season, we're going to have a breakdown of all the Nola starts I've been to this year.
Yeah.
But
just every Nola start.
Pretty much every Nola home start I've been there. Very, very good game to watch and to be at. A lot of fun. and we ended up winning it in the 11th. Took extras a couple times where Mr. Castellanos, Mr. Walkoff, he's had 5 this season. He's been on a tear. He had one really early in the season, then he's had 4, throughout the remainder. It's always fun to see him come up in the clutch, and he's really been our best hitter, most consistent hitter since June.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 4th, that one was tied for the most Phillies ever. He got another one since then? What am I?
Yeah, he's at 5. I thought he was at 5. Are we saying he
was
at 4?
I mean, no, at this point it was 4.
Yeah.
Where's he in the Marlins? He had a walk.
I thought he had 5. I thought he had one in the beginning of the season and then throughout. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just been 4. It feels like it's been like 20.
Yeah. Well, there's also like that go ahead in the 7th, two games before. But now it's maybe cool. And like he's the guy, see ball, hit ball. People knock him for his slumps, but when he's hot, he's hot.
Glorified batting practice, right?
When he's hot, man. And his post-game interviews are just legendary. What did you think about that last? What made you get it done today? It was a fastball.
What'd you see on that? What'd you see on that last pitch that you hit? It was a fastball.
4-seam.
So how did it work out for you? How did it work out for you? Well, didn't you watch the replay? Did you watch the game? Knowing fully that she did not watch the game, it makes it even better. That was so good. But it was on ESPN, so she very well could have, but I don't think so. She was probably prepping for everything and wasn't watching it and just got, hey, here, interview Nick Castellanos. Which, if you're a like a journalist or somebody interviewing Nick Castellanos, like it's got to be so intimidating. You got to be like, I got to be on my game. Like I cannot ask a stupid question. Like I cannot do it because he will just rip me apart.
In the most,
if we ever get the opportunity,
but not even like aggressively, just with a 1-word answer. He's the king of the that was a stupid question. I'm going to give you 1 word.
Yeah.
But that game too, that was I will set hand up. It was Labor Day weekend. I left early. I got the win in the parking lot. But that was the Estevez 10th and 11th. They get Witt out on the check swing too.
Yeah, Tom, you left me hanging there by myself, but I made some friends, so it was all good.
We had a good little crowd in our section this season. Our Sunday season ticket guys.
It was fun.
The frat boys over to our right. There's like a family behind us. It was a good crowd all Sunday. Shout out to 204.
It was a good time for sure. So then we moved on to the Blue Jays series up in Canada, the hometown of Topper. I don't know if he's actually from Toronto, but he might be.
I think Toronto.
Home country of Topper. So won both games, swept them, two game series. But I mean, this is really the Schwarber series. He was insane. At one point in game 2, he was 6 for 7 in the series with 4 home runs.
Yeah, it was like Castellanos numbers, playoffs. Like it was madness.
Oh my god, madness!
I couldn't believe that first game was crazy as it was. But I think it was like first he hit the leadoff and the game-winning home run and one in the middle.
Tyler Phillips started that game. Yeah, Tyler Phillips started that game. Let up six runs in the first. I think it was 6 runs. Brutal. Yeah, and it turned into a bullpen game. Walker
came in, gave up a 2-run blast. That was Alvarado's return. He looked pretty good. Yeah. And Strom pitched
huge
that
win.
game too.
That was an amazing win.
I want to give a shout out too because that was beforehand. Strom with the bases loaded jam. He got out of that last one too. That was sick.
Yeah.
One of those other games. But that game was huge because if you're going to use every one of your pitchers, get a win. And if Schwarber's going to hit 3 home runs.
Yeah, especially coming off of the high of that Brave series, it was great. Keep that momentum rolling.
Yeah.
Not have a letdown like that because it was certainly trending that way. This honestly is up there for one of the best wins of the season in my book. To win the way that we did, come all the way back. I think we were down by 4 runs twice in the game.
Yeah.
And we came back and won it. Schwarber 3 home runs. Like it was amazing. A lot of fun.
And I could not believe that with the 2 outs or with one, I think it was 1 out, man on second and third, and Schwarber comes up to the bat in the bottom of the 9th how in the world do they not walk him? He's got 2 home runs in the game. I couldn't believe it. But like all those at bats were like 7-pitch at bats too. You just stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. But I don't know how you don't walk him to first and have the force at home. It's like, it didn't make sense to me, but they paid for it.
And game 2 was another big win for us. You know, we talked about it, Schwarber with the other leadoff here, and that adds to the 14 total for the season. So move on to the Marlins. Moving on to the Marlins, and we're like the lowly Marlins. Let's get a 4-game sweep on them. Looked that way to start. We won the first 2. Pretty solid. Ranger actually looked pretty good in this game against the Marlins. He pitched only 5 innings. He's still on a pitch count, right? But it was a big win for us. Stott really kind of was the big one for us. A 2-run home run, and then the 2 RBI double for Clemens in the 6th really opened it up for us. Other than that, it was pretty quiet. But big 6th inning, shut the door for them early. Yeah, and won game 1.
Yeah, and Stott didn't take the step forward that the boardroom definitely expected, and I think a lot of people expected. But all is forgiven if you take that step forward in September, October.
That is very true, Thomas.
Yeah,
very true.
I mean, look what that can do. Look what that's done for other players when they've gone on tears in the playoffs and they carry it into the following season. So let's go.
Hopefully that's the case. He's starting to hit better. He is. So hopefully that's the case. And we carried on Stott and Clemens hitting well and lit a fire for the rest of the team in game 2. Most runs scored by the Phillies so far this season. Won 16-2. And it was great, actually, because we talked about it at the beginning of this show about the Eagles. It was actually pretty nice to be up 10-1 by the time the Eagles game really started getting underway. Knew that game was in the bag. So we could put a lot more focus on the Eagles game. Still keep an eye on the Phillies game, but it was great to kind of get out to that big lead early and just keep hitting.
And Wheeler was on the mound. If we're being honest, Friday night Eagles home opener in Brazil. This was probably the 16-2 win was probably the least watched game of the entire season.
Yeah, it probably was. So it's okay because of the score, and we weren't physically at the game, so we're allowing that. Okay, let's not go back on ourselves from what we talked about 30 minutes ago. But yeah, 22 hits on the night. Trey was a triple away from the cycle. There were 8 doubles by the team. Rojas had 3 of them.
Awesome.
So awesome to see. Awesome to see that. And then game 3 and game 4 went the other way. Two lousy games. Nola was terrible, probably his worst outing or one of his worst outings of the season. He let up 4 earned runs in just under five innings. And then we had Taiwan come in for mop-up duty. He let up 2 earned runs. It was just like a flush it game that rolled right into game 4.
Can we just be done with Taiwan? Like that was the feeling here.
He's coming out of the bullpen like 3 times now since he got put in there, and I think he's at least let up 2 earned runs each time, and he only pitches like an inning, maybe 2. It's incredible.
Sorry, buddy.
It's incredible what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
Put him out the pasture.
He needs a change of scenery as much as we need a change from watching him.
Yeah, we do.
But we need Turnbull back to do that, though.
Yeah, he might be back. They're saying October potentially, so it'd be interesting to see if he comes back and gets on the postseason roster over Taiwan. Hopefully, that's the case.
You're talking about that 5th roster spot. There's only 4 more of those scheduled 5th games, so like.
Not even.
It'd be nice to 3, 4. So if we can get him back, get a couple starts, see where he's at, it would be very nice to add him.
Definitely. And then lastly here, let's move on to the Rays series. Swept the Rays, 1-3-0. And it was great to see. And game 1 was huge for us to win. We won that at the bottom of the 9th. It was a big win because we didn't want any of those last 2 games against the Marlins to carry over. So we got that momentum back. Schwarber, again, played hero here to kind of set the tone. Broke up the no-hitter at that point in the 6th with a solo shot to center.
The guy is like, he's getting into And what do? You walk them and put someone on for Trey. It's, I mean, it's a
damned
luxury.
if you do and damned if you don't. It is a luxury, and he's been on fire. There's no such thing as June Schwarber anymore. It's just always Schwarbfest.
It's always
at this point. I wish Wawa would just keep Schwarbfest for like the remainder of the season, so we can get $5 shorties, $6 classics anytime we want. But
if you still want the $5, that's okay too, right, Dave? Or do you have to?
if there's okay, so there's only $1 difference, and you have to choose between a shorty and a classic. You get the classic every time. It's only $1 more. Even if you're not that hungry, save it for later.
I remember the first time you ranted about that, and the next day my sister was like I got the $5.
Got the shorty.
Yeah. I agree. Just go with the
Like, why did you buy the shorty?
It's $1. It's
$1. Anyway,
Rojas made that like robbing catch, but then it fell out of his glove for a home run. That was heartbreaking. But luckily,
it felt like
inconsequential. Luckily,
it felt like that was going to come back and bite us, but it didn't. Thankfully. And then Cody Clemens, this kid rakes, as his dad says, wins it for us in the bottom of the ninth. It was a lot of fun. Bryce really kind of set the table for that too in the ninth. He missed that. He hit it out to the right field wall. Missed the home run by about a foot. And this is when he was walking out of the box, and everybody gave him a hard time for it.
Yeah.
No, this was different. That was the next day.
Oh, that was different.
The night before. He's done it twice. Yeah, in the past 3 games. He hit it out there, but he thought it was gone, and he started walking at first, but it hit off the fence, and he only got a single out of it. So Cody Clemens saves him there. Yeah, it's the wrist. So then game 2, another Schwarber leadoff home run where he tied. This is the game he tied. He actually took it at this point with the 14th of the season. His record,
unbelievable
alone. Yeah, it's truly unbelievable. But we won this 9-4, even with Rangers struggling like he did. He led up a career high in hits. He had 12 hits against them in just over 5 innings. It was not a great start by him.
Yeah, they're wrong.
And it was 4-4 for most of the game. But we really kind of turned it on there later in the game, in the 8th. And it was very eventful.
Yeah.
And John Boy does a great job of explaining this. It's definitely worth a watch. It's about 12-minute video.
Yeah, on Twitter, John Boy. Yeah, he does a great. He will take events and lip sync and analyze. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was great lip dub by him. But it was a crazy inning. Cal Stevenson and Buddy Kennedy started it off. Yeah, 2 well-known names on this team, right? No, they're not. They just came up, and it's great to see them take advantage of their opportunity, come up clutch in big spots like that. And they set the tone. We went up. Cal Stevenson got on, and then Buddy Kennedy just blooped one out to right, and we went up 6-4 at that point. 2 RBI hit, 2 RBI single, and then Trey comes out later on in that inning and hits a blast, a 2-run blast out to left field and put us up 9-5 at that point.
Yeah, because what was the pitcher's name that got all frustrated?
Uceta.
Yeah.
Uceta. Yeah, dude, so Uceta up until that point had like a .76 ERA, and he just let up 5 earned runs in that half an inning. So he was pissed.
Dude, because you see all of his other balls. It was the hardest ball he threw this season, and it was directly at Castellanos. And like you looked at his pitch chart for the season, nothing else was over there. Like it was very clearly just got pissed off and pegged Casty.
The John Boy video does a good job of like calling out like what actually happened. He was basically, they're saying he was tipping pitches.
Right.
And the Phillies players were onto it, and he was getting pissed off, couldn't figure out why. So he did a great job of breaking that down as to what happened, and everybody on the Phillies team knew it. And Castellanos, and they said it like Kruk said it in the broadcast. He's like, he is very far away from home plate right now. Like he just knew he was getting pegged, and he like the pitch missed by about 4 feet and hit him right in the butt.
He's like, you don't do that, man. Yeah, Bryce ran right over. Stubbs darted out of the Stubbs was on his iPad.
Some MFers, a lot of MFers thrown out there. It was good. It was very eventful.
I'll add, it was also a good reminder, like, because it's a part of baseball. You know, if pitchers are, you know, the great pitchers, every pitch looks the same coming out of their hands. They don't tip pitches at all. But, you know, the Astros were cheating to a different level with the technology and banging trash cans. But it's a part of the game, picking up on if a pitcher is giving you a hint, giving you a tip that, you know, his slider is, when he threw the changeup, that he was flaring open the glove with his thumb. So like that's a big advantage of when you have these guys like Harper and JT and Trey. When you have this level of veterans these are heady guys, you know, that are looking for that type of thing, not just like goofing around. So like that's something you kind of might take it for granted with this team. Like we talk about the veteran presence, but you think they're not noticing stuff like that at a higher flick than other teams? I'd probably argue that we do, you know?
And who knows? Maybe we hired Connor Stallions from Michigan after he got fired. And he's now a baseball sign stealer for us.
He's got like a goatee in the other dugout.
And the glasses. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that's that guy's living the dream. I might draw up a manifesto. I could be the Phillies Connor Stallions.
Could be. Penn State might need him more than the Phillies, to be honest, but we'll see.
Not until we get Franklin out. Side note.
Yeah, let's get back. All right, let's finish this off. Game 3, again, we swept the Rays. Castellanos, predictable home run after getting hit the night before. Also on the anniversary of 9/11. You know, for all those bettors out there, it was probably a pretty good bet that was going to happen. And he did it. Did it in the first, went up 2-0 early. And that kind of led us through the rest of the game. It was not much action for the rest of the game. Wheeler pitched well. Estevez with the save.
Is Wheeler watching that game? It was the most casual 9 strikeouts. Like you don't even. He just goes out there and he's back. He's back to just doing his thing, wheeling and dealing.
It can, for the casual fan, not even a casual fan, anybody watching baseball, it can be very boring games because he just cruises and you're just like, oh yeah, done. Down.
He's firmly. I think now. You could check me, but I think now he's 3rd in ERA. He's second in ERA now.
No, 2nd in the Cy Young voting right now.
Oh yeah. Well, you have balloons.
Why were those balloons just going off?
Did you see that?
Is producer Jeff on here? Like just messing with us right now?
Oh, it was for Wesley Wilson's birthday. Is that because you said birthday?
Maybe birthday.
That was sick.
No,
birthday. Dude, I like that.
Nothing happens.
I didn't know what was going on over there. I hope that actually shows up. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, but now he's firmly put himself like right back in the Cy Young conversation. If he was the favorite for most of the season, and then he had the stretch where he missed time after the All-Star game, that little stretch. But I mean, if he gets these 3-4, continues what he's doing now.
Right behind Chris Sale right now. Yeah, he can definitely take over and see how Sale finishes out, see how the Braves finish out the rest of the season. He could definitely take that spot, and it'd be great. He deserves it.
After getting robbed with us 2 years ago.
He's gotten robbed. He got robbed a couple times. All right, so year-over-year comparison, again, we're 88-58 right now, 30 games over 500. Last year at this exact same time, we were 79-67. So we finished with 91 wins last year.
It was 91 or 92.
Something like that. So we went on a little bit of a tear there at the end of the year last year, but we're in a great spot, and we've already addressed that. Still, right now, best record in baseball. 19-8 over the last 27 games, 10-3 since we last recorded. So everything that we just went through, we only had 3 losses.
Yeah, boys are up. The boys are up.
Boys are buzzing. And then 8-2 in the month of September. It's been a great September for us, and we'll hopefully continue.
15-6 since Arcia decided to stare down Harper around the bases back on August 21st.
And those 3 losses that we've had since we last recorded, a lot of or not even that, but I guess 19-8 over the last 27, probably at least 4 or 5 of those have come from the 5th starting spot. Since August 23rd, that 5th spot, these are the stat lines that we've had. Seth Johnson, 2 innings pitched, 9 earned runs. Tyler Phillips, 0.2 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Taijuan Walker, 6 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Taijuan Walker, 3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Not a great way to start it.
Yeah.
Although that Tyler Phillips game is the one we won in Toronto.
Yeah, and that's the one that I'd say have another chance. But no, it should be that Aller kid or hopefully Turnbull comes back.
I think it's going to be Aller for the rest of the regular season, and then hopefully it won't matter, right? We'll have a 3 or 4 man rotation. And I guess on that point, Rangers struggled a couple of these games too. Do you think that Ranger will be in the top 3 rotation spots going into the postseason?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think Sanchez will be there?
I mean, honestly, I'm good with either.
Sanchez is pitching much better lately and pitching better than Ranger has of late.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, Sanchez earned it if he comes out. That's tough though. Rangers proved it in the playoffs.
He has. But I think he's hurt. I think he's playing through something, and I would put Sanchez in that 3rd spot, and you would use Ranger in those longer series if you need to in that 4th spot. But you could also use Ranger kind of like he was in the 2022 season, where he's like a mid reliever eating up a lot of innings, like not eating up a lot of innings, but dominating, as a long reliever type of role. Could be something that he would do too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I don't want to take it out of Rangers' hands though, because I think he's earned it. But Sanchez is playing pretty damn good too. Yeah, but Rangers did look better.
The one game, the last game, he did not.
One more bad outing. One more bad outing, and Sanchez is a good outing. Then it's Sanchez. You got to play the hot hand. Yeah, I think these guys are.
We'll see how that plays out, but it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I don't think the egos. I don't think it would affect Ranger. I don't think anything affects Ranger besides apparently.
That's true. That's true.
Hiccups.
Yeah. So let's go into quality. Let's talk about some individual players here. So over the last 2 weeks, who's been in the red? We'll start with pitchers. We talked about it. We mentioned it. Nola has not. He had one really bad outing, his last outing, and then one that was halfway decent. But overall, over the last 13 games, he's had an ERA of 5.06 and 14 strikeouts, which is solid. But his ERA has gone up. He's been getting hit around a lot. He's putting balls right in the middle of the plate. Struggling. His ERA is up to 3.41 for the season.
Yeah, when you compare it to the Cy Young year he was having the first half of the season.
Yeah, he was
doing really well.
But before that, he was pitching well like a few weeks ago. So hopefully this is just a blip on the radar, and he can get into Nola form of the postseason as we've seen over the past 2 years where he's dominant.
Right. And the nice thing is that all these starters we have, they're getting back to form where they're going deep in games. Even, Ranger hasn't been going as deep as he was previously, but, that's always been the key, and that's what was the key to our last 2 playoff runs, really. So everybody getting back. Wheeler's going to do his. Nola's getting back to his form where he'll have a 2-home-run 5th inning. But Sanchez, I mean, imagine if Sanchez didn't take this crazy step forward that he has, then we'd be kind of like, oh, is Ranger going to get together?
Yeah, we'd be in trouble.
It's kind of like having Sanchez sitting there like, hey, I could be a 3rd.
It's been a blessing to have him on this team for sure. And we didn't really think as he came up that he would be what he is today. So it's great to see. And we talked about Ranger. He's been struggling, obviously. 3 appearances over the last 2 weeks, just over 5 ERA. He hasn't gone over 5.1 innings pitched. I think this last outing or 2 outings ago, he was at 4. And then he let up 12 hits on Tuesday for his career high. All right, Nick Castellanos. This one was surprising to me. We have him on here as in the red over the last 2 weeks. He's only hit 200 in the last 13 games, but he's been coming in pretty clutch. Like he had the walk-off. He had the moment against the Rays, obviously with getting hit by the pitch. But he has been struggling a little bit over the last 2 weeks. Still remains our most consistent hitter overall when you look at full sample size since June. So hopefully this is not a sign of things to come. In the postseason, director of the board, Bert, actually called me earlier today, and that was his hot take, was that Nick Castellanos was going to struggle going into the postseason. Maybe he knew something we didn't, and he looked at the stats, but hopefully he's wrong, and hopefully this is just a little bit of a 2-week spur, and he'll get back to his hitting ways like he was.
Yeah, and I'd want to see also like how many walks in that time period. Because I don't know, he passes the eye test that he's seeing the ball pretty well.
I was surprised by it. Yeah. I was surprised by it. It took me by surprise. So, and then Trey, overall not terrible, hitting 250 over the past 2 weeks, but we expect more out of Trey. We expect him to be hitting where he's at for the season, around 300 and even more. So he's not been off to the best 2 weeks of past. So hopefully he can turn it back on, but still not terrible.
Yeah. I want to see him get over 300. Come on, Trey.
I know. He's at
Phil's
298.
Boardroom, that pressure.
298, currently 9th best average in baseball.
Yeah,
still has a push for the batting title.
An NL batting title, yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Something definitely to keep an eye on.
Frickin' Ozuna. He's got to beat Ozuna. All right, so Green in the last 2 weeks. Let's talk starting with pitchers.
It'd be awesome if Ozuna was going to get the Triple Crown and didn't because Trey took the batting title from him.
That would be amazing.
That'd be fantastic, yeah.
Hopefully it happens. So those that are in the green over the last 2 weeks, we got Wheeler and Sanchez as pitchers. Wheeler 3-0 in 3 appearances, 1.42 ERA, and Sanchez 1-0 record over 3 starts with a 1.93 ERA. So both very solid for us over the past 2 weeks. Hats off to them. Hopefully that continues going in to the postseason. And again, we'll wait and see if Sanchez earns that third rotation spot going in the postseason over Ranger.
Yeah, and I think that common sense prevails there.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully we don't have like this blind loyalty thing that sometimes seems to happen, but we'll see how it plays out. And then from a hitting standpoint, Harper, we talked about it. His swing is not as ferocious as it usually is because he's playing hurt. But whatever swing he has right now, it's working. He's not necessarily hitting for power over the wall. He has a bunch of doubles that he's gotten. He's hitting 396 over the past 13 games, 19 total hits, 3 RBIs. He's now up to 7th for the season, 7th in Major League Baseball in doubles with 39 and 10th in on-base percentage at 375.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
he's on a tear.
It's funny, though, because we talk about like his swing is so violent, so ferocious, but he's consciously taking a step back because it's clearly in pain when he whips at the ball. But now it's like you can visually see, like the batting coach doesn't have to say like, yeah, you're swinging too hard.
For average. He hits for average now. He doesn't hit for power. He hits for average, which is fine. Great. I'd rather that, honestly.
But it's visually like you can see if he doesn't listen to the batting coach because he winces and drops the bat.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking back weeks ago when we said he should have rested, and it's hard. Hindsight's 20/20, but we said it at the time too. But how much does rest help this injury? But Harper's a grown man, two MVPs. He knows what he can do for this team, how important he is for his team, and he's raking without the home runs.
He's raking.
I love it.
It's okay. I'll take it. And Schwarber hitting 320. We talked about it. That Blue Jay series was incredible. He has hitting 320, 7 home runs over the past 2 weeks. So basically one every other game. It's been incredible. And his stat line, MLB ranks, like honestly, he might be the MVP of this team by season end. 10th in runs with 100 in baseball, 8th in baseball in home runs with 35, and then 3rd in both walks with 98 and strikeouts at 176.
Yeah.
Take the good with the bad.
It's crazy, and it's hard, on a team with Bryce Harper to declare someone else the heart and soul of the team. But I mean, it's kind of
he might be the MVP of this team this year. I thought it would be Bohm. He's been hurt. Bohm is up there.
Castellanos not missing a single game, carrying us through slumps.
It's a good problem to have.
it's also a recency bias. Like Schwarber had a pretty big slump when the rest of the team was doing well, but he's that guy that picks up the team when nobody else is.
He is, but he's in top 10 in 3. He's top 10 in 4 statistical categories for hitting, 3 that are good. Obviously, strikeouts isn't one you want to be in, but he's in the top 10 in 3 statistical categories.
That's MLB, where Aaron Judge is taking the top spot in all of them, and I think Ohtani is the other ones.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy what he's doing. It's crazy impressive, and you got to just finish strong and take it right into the playoffs, baby.
And lastly, here we got Marsh, who was struggling. I think the last time we talked, he was in a big slump. He's come out of it. 342, past 13 games. Or actually, he's only played 12 of the last 13 games. But 342, a home run, 4 RBIs. He's come up clutch. He's had some big hits, got on base. He's scored some major runs for us over the past 2 weeks. So it's great to see him hitting, solidify that corner outfield spot. It's much needed, especially with Hayes being hurt.
Maybe a little bit of a Tiger Woods effect here with all the.
His name has been thrown out there on TikTok for those that you don't know.
Stop dragging our boy
for some potentially promiscuous stuff. But they also haven't proven that it's him, so can't say that it was him.
Some influencer ladies saying and calling an anonymous player, but clearly making it pretty obvious that they're talking about Marsh.
And they said, it's not current. It was years ago. And we're like, okay, we'll see.
All right, shocking news. Baseball players can get a lot of DMs.
Shocking. All right, people. Let's move on to people. Alvarado
is the one note on that. It was kind of funny. Yeah. The one part she's like, yeah, and then I went into his bedroom and I was like, this guy's a millionaire. There's like a mattress on the floor.
Guys are simple. It's like the meme. It's like a folding table, a folding chair, and a TV on the box that it came in. That's all a guy needs. That's it.
The dream.
That's simple life.
All right. So back to people.
People. Alvarado is back, and he's looking better than ever this season. He's looking back to his regular self, coming back from after those personal reasons that he was out for. I do still think that came into play with his performance, that there was something weighing on him. But hopefully that's taken care of, and hopefully he's back into what we expect of him, and he's looked pretty solid since he's been back since then.
Yep, and I think the Hoffman and Estevez really taking that pressure off of him, letting him just go do his thing without, constantly being in the high pressure closer role. He can just go and do his thing. Yeah.
And then we didn't talk about Bohm because he's been injured from a quality standpoint, but since he's been injured, Jarren Duran from the Red Sox has caught up to him. He's now tied with him in doubles.
No.
44 for the season. So Bohm needs to come back as soon as possible and take that crown. He deserves it. He's been basically leading it wire to wire, and it's getting close here at the end.
That would suck. Yeah, he's got to get that.
It would suck. And then Taiwan, we have here, we already talked about it. In no world should he make the postseason roster. Not going to dwell on that. I think we both agree. I think everybody agrees.
Yeah, thank you for your service, Taiwan.
Thank you. Get out of here. And then Buddy Kennedy, it was a really cool moment in the ninth inning game with the Rays on Monday night. Buddy Kennedy, who recently got caught up with all these injuries from AAA, they're chanting his name, Buddy, Buddy, Buddy. He had a very clutch walk in that game to help us take it over in the bottom of the ninth with Cody Clemens right after. But then the following game, he had that clutch 2 RBI single to take us 6-4. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
All right, so moving on to cost. Lastly here, as we wrap up the business review, postseason tickets went on sale. We talked about it. Worth the money if you can do it. There might still be some available. So if you're a season ticket holder, definitely look into getting your postseason tickets. Kind of confused on how they break them out with everybody. Like I bought my tickets like 2 days before Tom did. I don't know how it all works.
Sitting there waiting on the email. It's like
yeah, it doesn't really make sense how it works.
Because you got it like 2 days before. Then my brother-in-law, Jerry, they got it. They had the same Sunday ticket package, but they got it the day before. So I'm just waiting. I was driving to a wedding in Baltimore. I was about 5 minutes from the hotel, and I got the email alert. I was like, I got to pull over. I got to get best available. I was like, all right, I can wait 5 more minutes. But
yeah,
I had to do it right in the parking lot.
Well, yeah, it's interesting, but I'm glad everybody got them that I know of that has tickets, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully,
can't wait, man.
Take full advantage of everything that we got.
World Series, I hope we win in 5. But if that World Series goes 7, I'm gonna need.
You'll be there.
Need to buy. You'll be there. Some extra underwear. I can't even think about that. Yeah, but
yeah, it'd be incredible. That'd be incredible. So there are final things here on cost. They actually saw an article the other day that they're planning to expand the New Era team store, which is right when you come in on the left side when you come in the third base gate. That's great. I do hope that it would be great if they actually. What's annoying is when you see all this cool stuff and great gear on Fanatics and you can never buy it anywhere and like try it on and it's impossible to return anything on Fanatics. It'd be great if they kind of had like, here's everything that we have on Fanatics in the store and you can actually see it and touch it and try it on and not have to deal with all that online. That would be nice.
No, I'm buying I've been saying it for a while now because I'll usually just rock the pinstripe Real Muto that I got when Modell's went out of business. Shout out Modell's.
R.I.P.
I'm doing the baby blue Swart Ranger if they got one in there. Try to swing his momentum, show my support.
That's a good one. If we have Game 7 World Series, you need to buy it for that.
But yeah, that's cool. You know what else they should add? More of those fans that spray the mist. There's like 3 of them. You walk past on your way out for these Sunday hot games. I wish they should have them everywhere.
They should add it.
Note for next year.
Yeah, and then lastly here, rolling up cost. We talked about the fantasy football league the Phillies players have set up. They drafted over the last 2 weeks. The winner actually gets $31K, a cold $31,000.
Not bad.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I saw when Harper was mic'd up, he said he's not doing it this year.
He said he's more of a college guy.
Right.
He's an Ohio State fan, unfortunately, but we don't hold that against him.
I do a little. Yeah. He doesn't know better. Right. He dropped out of high school.
Well, his wife also played volleyball at Ohio State, so I get it.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. So let's look forward, and in this moment, we're gonna have a little fun. So we're merging our looking forward and our team building activity together in this episode. We're gonna look through the last 16 games of your Philadelphia Phillies, but on top of that, we're also gonna look through the last 16 games for the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. And we're going to go kind of game by game here and just talk through whether or not we think predict whether or not we're going to get a win or a loss. And the same thing for the Mets and the Braves. And we have a calculator that we put together, an Excel spreadsheet. So hold on.
Don't give me credit for this. You put this together.
Let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? I'll pull it up.
This is really becoming Phil's Boardroom now.
Yeah,
we got to also remember
the corporate culture.
Not everybody's on YouTube, so we'll try to visually talk you through this. Like you're listening to a football game on the radio. They're going from left to right.
So starting off with the Phillies here, each of these 3 teams, the Phillies, Mets, and Braves, have 16 games left. We have 7 against the Mets. So a lot of overlap. But let's go one by one here, and let's try and predict. What we're trying to do here is predict what game, when we're going to win the National League East.
I love it. Magic
Currently
number
9-game magic number.
Just to break down the magic number really quickly, the magic number is how many Phillies wins and how many other team losses. So if we win a game
behind us,
it goes to 8. So right now this is for the Mets. So if we win, it goes to 8. If the Mets lose, it goes to 8. If both happen, it goes to 7. So that's why it's a magic number, yeah.
So that's why this series against the Mets is so big. Same as the Braves series a couple weeks ago when they were in second place. So if we win game 1 here, and I think we will. Who do we got pitching here? We got
We get 2 out of 3, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we get 2 out of 3. We have Nola pitching on Friday against Quintana, who has like a over 4 ERA. I think we get the dub on Friday, so that we get a W there, and then we go down to the Mets and they get the loss. That takes our magic number down to 7.
Dude, this might be Jinx City.
I don't know. We'll see. So we're at magic number is 7, but it also matters what the Braves do because the Braves are only 1 game back on the Mets. So do we think that they're going to take a win on Friday against the Dodgers is the question. Let's see. We got Swellenbach versus Knack. I don't know who Knack is.
I think Schwarber has a bounce back, a big rookie.
Knack looks like he's like a pretty recent guy who got caught up.
Give it to the Braves. I think they're under us. Give it to the Braves.
So we give it to the Braves, and this is what's interesting. Now the Mets and the Braves are again tied. The Mets do own the tiebreaker, so it gets interesting because once the Braves surpass the Mets, and we continue to beat the Mets in this series, then that number only shrinks to 1, and it reverts back to how many wins we had. So it gets really confusing at this point. But like, let's just play along and keep going. So
yeah,
on Saturday,
I would like to chalk up Sunday as a win for us because I don't want to be at the game when we lose.
All right, we'll wait till we get there. So Saturday we have Allard, the 5th starter, against Severino. Severino has not pitched that well either this year. I think he's over 4.
We'll give that to the Mets.
ERA as well.
Yeah,
but you want to give that to the Mets against Allard? Okay.
Yeah, that's the realistic. Say 2 out of 3.
Yeah. All right. So then, what about the Braves here? We got the Braves against the Dodgers again, and it's Sale against Flaherty. Sale is the leader in the clubhouse for the Cy Young.
What site what are you using to see the pitching matchups?
I'm on ESPN. I'm on ESPN next games. Yeah.
No free ads, ESPN.
No free ads.
Yeah.
So I think the Braves take the first 2 in LA.
That's gonna
actually they're not in LA. They're in Atlanta. Even better for them.
Yeah, that makes things really interesting.
Yeah. So again, the Mets and the Braves remain tied. Still magic number at 7 at this point. But Tom, we get the win on Sunday. We have who's pitching Sunday for us. We got Sanchez versus Peterson. Peterson hasn't pitched bad for the Mets. He's actually at around just over 3 ERA. It should be a good game, but I think we take the dub against the Mets. That's going to be on national television as well.
Yeah,
from what I understand,
a little Sunday afternoon game. I think I think that's fair.
Oh yeah, that's not going to be on national television. It's at 1:30. So yeah, hope we take that
game
win
tomorrow. ESPN, yeah.
We see how that number jumped. We kept it at 7 because it really matters what the Braves do here.
You put this together nice, Dave. This is
if
welcome to the Phils Boardroom.
I had to really think about it. If the Braves win here, the magic number stays at 7. If they lose, then it will go down to 6, I believe. So let's see here. We got Braves on Sunday. It's Morton versus Bueller. Ooh, Bueller's not good. He has Bueller for the Dodgers, a 7.7. Oh God, 7.7 ERA.
No, they're putting Morton in prime time. Honestly, I'd go Braves.
You got to go Braves.
Bueller's not bad, gonna win. But yeah, I'd go Morton.
All right, so the Braves are now 2nd in the National League East and have that final wild card spot.
Game 4, though, they put Fried out, but they go against Yamamoto, who's having a great season. So I think give the Dodgers the last game. Yeah,
we will do that. So let's go back here. So we're going to go to the Brewers series where we have Ranger against Ray in Milwaukee. Do we think Ranger bounces back here?
I just bought his jersey the day before on Sunday, so Ranger's going to bounce back here. We gotta.
It'd be a huge win for us
to get to 100. We gotta. If we just win every series,
and then you got the Mets. Tyler McGill against the Nationals. Who knows if I would probably give them the win on this too.
Yeah, the Mets are red hot. If we're give them the benefit of the doubt, make it interesting.
Yeah. And we'll give the L to to the Braves. They win 3 out of 4 against LA at home in Atlanta. I think that's a very realistic thing, and that could really help us overall for that number 1 spot. So right now, after these 4 games, our magic number is down to 4.
Now,
so now
Phillies,
we're on to Tuesday.
You got Wheeler on the TBS game. Again, Montez. Go. It's Wheeler. It's Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler.
Just count the dub.
Get the dub. And we got Mets. We got, who do we got? Mania. He's been pitching pretty well. I would probably give that to the Mets.
Let the Mets sweep.
Well,
let them sweep.
All right, we'll see. And then with Braves play the Reds. Braves fighting for their playoff lives, right? They don't have a pitcher named yet. That's not usually a good sign. We'll give them the loss.
Yeah, and then the last 2, Schwellenbach and Sale.
Yeah,
give them those wins. Make it interesting.
The question here is, do we sweep the Brewers? Are we setting up for a sweep of the Brewers? Because that last Brewers game, we have Nola versus Myers.
Yeah,
Myers 2.76 CRA. He's been pitching really well. He's pretty good. Nola could struggle. I don't know. I would almost maybe give us a loss. I don't know if we're going to sweep the Brewers, to be honest with you.
You're giving Nola a loss, your boy.
I am. He's struggling. I want him to get back, but I feel like we're not going to sweep the Brewers.
That's just because you love Rhys Hoskins so much more than you love Aaron Nola.
Oh my god, it's not true.
It's not true. No, okay,
All right.
I'll take that. 2 out of 3. I'm happy.
So
with
we're
that.
giving the Mets the sweep.
Yeah,
and then the Braves in Cincinnati, I think they win this one. We got Schwellenbach again against Junis, who is just called up from AAA. So that is a win for the Braves.
Yeah, I'd give them that series. They got Sale pitching the 3rd game.
Yeah. All right, so now we're back to the Mets series, and this is where it gets interesting for us. It is now Thursday, September 19th, and we have our 5th spot against Severino. We got the Allard spot. Do we take the L?
Yeah, it's counted as an L. I don't feel right taking a 5th spot as a win.
And it's a win.
Because realistically, do you go out and exhaust your bullpen with 3 more games against them? No, you don't. You're going to let some kid die out
Magic
there.
number is at 3 at this point. It's like just deal. And then where are we at?
That's Sale.
So it's a win.
Well, hopefully it's Sale getting rocked and moving back into Cy Young, but we'll be realistic.
So now we're at Friday on the 20th, and we have
Apple TV.
Christopher Sanchez back. Apple TV. Christopher Sanchez against David Peterson. Again, having a pretty solid year, but I still think we get the dub.
Sanchez
get back, and we get the loss there. Boom.
Honestly, yeah, this is
down to 1. Down to 1, and then I think the Braves beat the Marlins. So it doesn't matter who they're pitching.
And this is Ranger.
Saturday, Ranger. Ranger, is he the one here? Okay, is this the moment Ranger comes back and he is the one who leads us to the National League East?
It's a
clinching game.
4 p.m. Saturday game too. That's a great time.
Is that the moment? Are we circling?
That's it.
So
9:21, baby.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. So we win that.
Oh yeah.
Obviously the Mets lose.
Yeah.
What are the Braves going to do? So who do the Braves have on that Saturday pitching? They have Fried.
They're gonna give them the win. Give them the win.
Oh man, this is good. All right. So now we're on Sunday. Hold on. This is where it gets interesting. Sunday, Wheeler. It's a dub. Easy dub.
So it's either going to be 9:21 or 9:22.
That locks it up. It doesn't matter.
A Sunday
doesn't matter.
Sunday 7 p.m. ESPN game with Wheeler on the mound. Circle it.
Lock it up right there. It doesn't matter.
Circle it.
Yeah. Let's say 9:22. Sunday 9:22 is when we lock in the National League East.
And that's poetic too, because right after that we lock that in, both of them get a day off, and then they go head to head for the wild card.
Yeah, it is poetic.
How can you not be romantic about baseball, Dave?
It's amazing how this worked out, right?
The script writers are doing a great. Do you think this is how the script writers do it? They sit down like this?
Maybe. So just looking at this, we talked about 100 wins, right? If the scenario plays out, right now we're at 95 wins, and we have 6 to go.
Oh man!
So we'd have to win 5 of 6 to get to 100. I think more realistically, we're going to end up at about that 98 mark. So we win 3 of the last 6.
If we're still neck and
AAA.
I think we take the series from the Cubs 2-3, and then if we're still neck and neck with the Yankees for the top in the MLB, we sweep the Nationals, end at 100.
Man, maybe that'd be fun to watch. We'll see how it plays out, but let's circle this weekend, the 21st, 22nd weekend, as the weekend to watch.
We got to screenshot this. We'll post this as our prediction so that everybody can just rip us apart.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're saying. Wheeler on the mound, game clincher on Sunday against the Mets. 9:22. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we post it as is like this, just saying we're calculating the NL East number, and then people can speculate about the rest.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. That pretty much wraps us up for today in our first virtual run through. I think we had a lot of fun, though.
I feel like I'm sitting in the hotel parking lot in Baltimore, and I just got my Phillies tickets again. I'm excited again, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun 2 weeks, and we're planning on doing hopefully something fun for our last episode of the regular season. So more to come on that. But it's gonna be a fun 2 weeks, and go Phils.
Go Phils, baby.